Thanks everyone for joining today. Our topic is navigating the strategic portfolio management landscape with OnePlan. Strategic portfolio management is one of the main topics, disciplines that we talk a lot about, since OnePlan addresses all the different use cases that are within it. So we're going to try to go a little bit deeper today into each one of those use cases. So the first thing is, why even talk about this? Why even address process and tools? And what I would propose is that we look at project portfolio management as a discipline in itself, and this is something that is difficult for management teams sometimes to understand. It is a competency that you need to work on, and it's something that you need to improve over time. The practices have been around for 50 years, and you do need to recognize it as a capability that you need to build within organizations. So, in very, very general terms, project portfolio management, which you can elevate to strategic portfolio management, are a set of processes and tools that allow an organization to achieve strategy, make better investments, improve the use of resources, so that you can achieve your strategy, which includes meeting customer expectations, meeting stakeholder expectations, meeting shareholder expectations if you happen to be a public company. And it does require continuous improvement. So the point here is that you have to be looking at what's latest and greatest in the market from practitioners and from analysts in order to determine how to make it better within your organization. If you're not focusing on it, you need to be focusing on it, because again, it is, I think it has evolved as a core competency within organizations, that this capability to deliver better projects through better selection, better use of resources, and better alignment to strategy. So in order to do that, we can reference industry analysts. They're a point of reference for best practice and tools. And just like anything, any other external, whether it's a framework or whether it's analyst comments, they need to be taken in context. In most cases, they are doing surveys and they are talking to a lot of people. So they're generalizing practices in the specific domain, which means that you have to figure it out and understand it first. What is it that they're saying? And then secondly, internalize it, contextualize it to your organizational situation. And this involves leadership. This involves what has worked previously. This involves, having a plan of action on how you would actually implement any of these practices. So just like with any framework, process framework and tool, what you have to do is, again, figure out what's going to work for your organization, and not necessarily take it in literally, as in this case, as the analysts are stating. So I list some here. We're going to focus, the one that we're going to focus on today is the hype cycle from Gartner, and we're going to put our own spin on it as a point of reference for best practice tools. But we could do the same thing with the Forrester one. We could do the same with IDC. We could do the same with Infotech. They all have their own interpretation of what those best practices and tools are. So if we go to the Gartner hype cycle, which I presented before, the way they do this is they're doing a survey. They're talking to organizations. That in itself has bias, because they're not talking to everybody. They're talking to just a sample of organizations, and then they're making their own call on what is popular or what is being implemented and what could add value. In this case, we're looking at the hype cycle for strategic portfolio management, and I want to highlight that every one of these are practices and technologies, processes and tools that you could be implementing to improve portfolio management, in this case, strategic portfolio management. I'm going to take a slightly different spin on this. I will highlight that, they talk about timing of, when these processes and tools are going to be implemented. Uh, another interesting, point is that there's relationship between all of these: agile beyond IT and agile project management. Okay, yes, they define them as differently, but in general terms, we're talking about implementing agile in an organization. So I want to put that also to the forefront, because what we've done is kind of clustered them and highlighted what you should be focusing on. So on in general terms, what I did is I directionally placed time to implement. In other words, the greater you are to the right of practices, the longer is going to take for you to implement. So strategic portfolio management, if you're doing it as defined, which means that you're taking 3 use cases, which is EPMO, Strategic Realization Officer, Strategy Execution, and Application Portfolio Management, and an IPA. Those are 3 different process and tools that you would have to implement to achieve strategic portfolio management. So that's why it's more to the right. And I put obviously to the furthest right, which I'm not sure whether it's entirely correct, time to implement AI-enabled PPM, RPA-enabled PPM. Right now, I'm about to show you how we have Sophia GPT within OnePlan. So while if you were to internalize this, AI-enabled PPM, and what is meant by AI-enabled PPM is basically, imagine a portfolio management system where everything is automated, and you're basically approving or changing recommendations that are being made by an AI solution. Okay, so we're clearly not there yet, but we are on our way. So that's where Sophia GPT, in the case of OnePlan, supports that, and I'll talk about that in a second. But here we're talking about the future, way into the future. Also, RPA-enabled PPM, where we will have automation where data will get captured by RPA, and then that will complete. Imagine having your entire PPM completed by workflows driven by RPA. So that's why I've placed this way into the future. I place EPMO in the center because that should be, for a larger organization, an enterprise project management office or portfolio management office should be the kind of the end goal. I'll go on a limb and say that that's really what an organization should do, because it's the centerpiece of connecting to strategy if you're going up towards your objectives and key results, and then if you're going down towards your collaborative work management, you need to connect to the EPMO. That happens to be a strength of OnePlan. It's where OnePlan started, so I placed it in the center. You can see that I have connections to other sets of practice, other clusters. So we have lean portfolio management, agile beyond IT, agile project management, and enterprise agile frameworks. They all relate to, again, shifting left, a topic that we've covered in some of our webinars already, where OnePlan actually supports your transformation towards agile practices internally. And so all those generally have to do with how are you going to implement agile within the organization. To the left of that, we have adaptive, which means that you're combining both the traditional, waterfall techniques with more agile practices, whether you're talking about governance, whether you're talking about delivery, or whether you're talking about program management. So again, it's related to strategic portfolio management if you are in an organization where you're going to be doing or tracking both agile and non-agile delivery initiatives. At the bottom here, I have a product funding, product-centered delivery model, and PPM for new product development. So Agile has also brought to the forefront the need to look at our what we deliver to customers as products. And also this is driven by technology and how we are now delivering technology products to our customers. So that's why that is important. And then on the bottom left, in terms of maturity required, a domain PMO and resource management, we find that that is one of the, if you're doing project portfolio management, after building your inventory, the next capability that you're going to have to build internally is, resource management. Can actually see where everybody's working, the capacity they have, and how I can optimize them across all initiatives in the organization. The check marks, what's currently in adoption based on these surveys. I would tend to agree with the assessment. We do have customers that are doing enterprise agile frameworks, whether it's SAFe or less, or Scrum of Scrums. We have customers that are focusing on product. I'm surprised about the product development because, we don't see as much into new product development, but we do have, organizations that have structured their portfolios in terms of products. And for sure, domain PMOs, we participate in a lot of organizations where this is taking place. It's basically a business unit PMO. It's non-IT and it's not an ePMO. On the adaptive side, OnePlan is very strong. We were one of the first to actually come out with an adaptive portfolio management solution that allows you to harmonize agile and non-agile projects within your entire portfolio. So these are the clusters and their current adoption. If we go to the next level, what is next? So once you focus on the blue check marks, what is likely to come next? And here we see, some interesting expansion. I'm surprised that, resource management is noted as adoption in the future, because we actually see that quite frequently in organizations, as I said earlier. So I might not disagree with that, that survey result. But if we go to the top, we can see, yes, application portfolio management, we are seeing more interest in actually mapping your initiatives to the impact of applications within the organization managed by IT. Digital Transformation Office, this has been around for some time, but it's more prevalent. It's more of a program office. It could be a spinoff of an ePMO to deal with digital initiatives. Again, I think this has been in place for some time now, but it's there's more formalization of a digital transformation office. Obviously, anything having to do with agile is continuing to grow. We've done webinars previously where we've stated that it's now 60% of initiatives that are actually being driven by agile methods, more than half. So that would support that practice as being one that's going to be adopted in the future. So if you were to map continuous improvement plan for your organization, you would want to make sure that you're checking these off. And in general terms, what this is saying is that, okay, if you're not adaptive, you have to focus on it now. You're moving to agile or becoming more agile. You have to take into account applications and your entire IT landscape, whether it's business architecture or enterprise architecture. If you have not had a program office for for digital transformation, you should consider one. And then, as I said earlier, resource management is I think that's a key component of PPM. I don't know if you're not doing it right now, then it's something that you have to hurry up and and get going on, because it's a clear need to see where all the resources in the organization are allocated. Now, the way this translates to OnePlan is that we have a set of capabilities, process, and tools to actually address the different stakeholders in the organization and the different personas that are going to be in this process. And this is what makes OnePlan a full strategic portfolio management platform that can accommodate the different scenarios that I just painted. You have, for initiation, let's address the initiation pillar. So we have to manage demand, we have to take in requests, and we have to generate ideas. We have to drive innovation in the organization. So for those stakeholders, both internal and external, so your your team members internally and your customers, they are asking for changes to what they are being delivered. So that's where OnePlan has a request portal and an ideation portal where you can actually provide that user experience for those stakeholders to complete their requests and ideas, and that is supported by workflow, which in most cases it can drive decision making by different approvers. So that's OnePlan has those capabilities to address the initiation area. Now, what we put strategy as a as a second step. You could have put it first also, but here the concept is that these requests and ideas are impacting strategy, and it could be that you have to change strategy or your driving strategy based on what your customers are asking for. So to that end, senior leadership has within OnePlan my strategy area, where you can have your OKRs, both objectives and key results, explicitly captured and managed, and you can see achieving the key results based on the impact from initiatives that you've defined, and tracking of the metrics and reporting of the metrics to see exactly whether you're actually going to be able to meet your objectives. At the same time, a lot of evolution of the organization through the enterprise architecture and business architecture can actually also be tracked within OnePlan. So this might be also a source of initiatives for the organization. Whether it's new applications, improvement of capability, so capability-based strategic planning, improvement of value streams, customer journeys, etc. You're going to track that all, and the impact of technology within the enterprise architecture area of OnePlan. All of these, really what they do is they drive initiatives that you're going to actually include within your portfolio. And now we're getting into selection, prioritization, and of portfolio items that have been that have risen from all of the initiatives that have occurred in initiation and strategy. So to that end, that's where the strengths of OnePlan lie in terms of portfolio planning, whether it's through our list views, our boards, or roadmap. There is a what-if scenario modeling capability, our modeler, that allows you to define scenarios based on different assumptions. And then finally, the OnePlan cost planner allows you to understand the level of investment at the different for the different plan types, what we call plan types, which is really the hierarchy, the planning hierarchy that you have within your portfolio. Simply, portfolio, program, project, epic which is within our standard solution. So that's what's available for the portfolio managers. In execution, a lot of different tools for the personas there. We have plan managers, which are project managers or scrum masters, and OnePlan actually does have a scheduling engine and a board within it for doing both waterfall and agile plans. But if you happen to have the source data in other systems, you can bring it in. This is where we're providing a lot of value, for instance, in the collaborative space, where these tools are already in place, but they don't have an overarching solution for managing it as a entire enterprise portfolio, and that's where OnePlan comes in. Same goes for agile portfolio management. OnePlan has a board, but we in those scenarios, because agile plans are being done in the agile planning tools, you will likely integrate and synchronize that data with OnePlan on an ongoing basis through our OneConnect platform, which I will address in a minute. The next set of users personas are the resource managers, which are really important, and that's where OnePlan has very robust features, both at the plan level and at the global resource summary level, where you can see all resources and all projects and determine where resources are over allocated, and make changes, again, whether you're a resource manager communicating to the rest of the organization, where the users are going to be your team members are going to be assigned to those projects. For team members, they have a very simple level of my work list, where they can see all the work that's been assigned to them. If you are an organization that needs a timesheet, we do have a formal timesheet for team members to complete. The interesting part about my work, it reflects all the work that somebody can be assigned, not only project work, but if you happen to be assigned the tracking of a key result, for instance, even though you're a team member, you're going to be able to actually track that within there. Also, a risk or an issue, anything that has been assigned to you will show up within my work. Finally, when we're trying to tie everything together, where there's a delivery and outcome measurement, and that's where executives have status reports, have dashboards, and then visualizations to see the dependencies within all of the elements being managed within OnePlan. OnePlan uses Power BI as its primary reporting tool. We do have the ability to extract data if you happen to be using other reporting tool sets. And then finally, we do have the ability to track benefits, not showing here from a real estate standpoint, but if you wanted to maintain the project items open in order to track, both benefit realization, post-closing of a project, you can actually do that. We do put here Sophia GPT at the bottom because it's supporting the entire life cycle and all of the different users, and that is within your your OnePlan group, what we call group, which is a OnePlan site. It's your data set. This is using Azure Open AI, so it is protected just like the rest of the OnePlan data set. So why is this important for you to know? Well, all of these capabilities are configured differently depending on the solution that we are targeting, what your end state solution is. And I think that's the hard part for industry analysts to actually recognize that OnePlan is actually a strategic portfolio management platform. It can address strategic portfolio management capabilities. We have a solution for that. We have a lean portfolio management, an agile portfolio management template, actually. So if you're in this scenario, you could actually use OnePlan to do agile portfolio management. We are one of the first to come out, like I said, with the adaptive project management capabilities. Has been around now for years, where we again bring together agile and non-agile work initiatives. And if you wanted to use OnePlan just for collaborative work management, team members just managing projects, project managers and team members just managing projects without really having all of the portfolio management capabilities, you can do that within OnePlan. So again, you have a set of modules and capabilities to address the different scenarios that I painted previously. And I'll be more direct here. What we see here are those processes and tools that are supported by the OnePlan solution template. So if you're looking within industry analyst reports, and they talk about strategic portfolio management, strategy realization, digital transformation, application portfolio management, all those can be encompassed within the strategic portfolio management solution template for OnePlan. You can actually start that right now, and a configuration will makes an attempt at addressing the main capabilities required in order to deliver on these scenarios. From an EPMO standpoint, and I'll include adaptive here because for the most part now, an EPMO does have to recognize that they're doing agile projects. We have an adaptive project portfolio management solution, and that actually allows you, as it states there, balance the benefits of both agile and non-agile methodologies while providing full portfolio management capabilities. In terms of agile portfolio management, again, any of the agile process and tools that have been listed previously are addressed by our agile portfolio management template, and which, by the way, can be changed. So it's not only while there is some prescriptive guidance on what those processes and tools must have, OnePlan very easily does have a safe, for instance, configuration. So if you're managing value streams instead of value streams, portfolios, epics, and features within a plan increment cadence, OnePlan has a template that addresses that. If you're doing lean portfolio management at a higher level and just want to do epics, OnePlan can be configured to that specifically. So again, there is also flexibility within the solution templates to address this specific um, definitions of these process and tools. For domain PFO and resource management, we actually have a portfolio planning, just a very simple portfolio planning template. There's also a resource management template. I put here these both because, and most likely, even when you're doing resource management, you're going to be looking at portfolio planning. For the new product development set of practices and tools, OnePlan has a product portfolio management solution. Again, a specific configuration to manage products and manage the initiatives that are associated to those products. And then finally, I did state AI-enabled PPM and RPA-enabled PPM because we have been, in terms of capturing the wave with the latest and greatest generative AI capabilities that are in the market. OnePlan already has integrated, ChatGPT through Azure OpenAI, and also have integrations to Power Automate, which are important because that is a strong RPA capability that Microsoft provides. So, that's one way of addressing the RPA-enabled PPM futures. So, one aspect that's important to note, one of the reasons that we can achieve all the different scenarios also has to do with our integration capabilities. So we have connectors through our OneConnect platform, and if we don't, we can actually build them if needed, if we don't happen to have one for the solutions that you see here. The Microsoft ones, there's some Microsoft ones that are at no cost, which are the project for the web and planner, SharePoint and Teams, and then there are subscriptions for the rest of them. The more common scenarios include, as I said, integrating agile workloads either through Azure DevOps or Jira, bringing in project work through the project tools that Microsoft has or through Smartsheet, and then bringing in financial data when we're doing actuals through SAP, Workday. By this point, after 5 years, we've pretty much done them all for our customers. I do want to highlight that there is, enterprise architecture. If you are doing IPA, there's Smart 360, which is the tool that we have a relationship with to develop your enterprise architecture repository, and also integration to other tools such as LeanIX in order to bring in those enterprise architecture elements into OnePlan. And one more mention on OnePlan AI and Sophia GPT. We're just starting, so we're focusing on this a lot, and expect to have a lot more features. What we want to do is, take full advantage of what's currently available in the market and make it part of our of the OnePlan SPM platform. So, look for that as an added benefit, because you don't have to do that on your own for portfolio management. It will be integrated within the OnePlan platform. So it is an area of investment for us, and as you've seen through our integration of our launch of Sophia GPT, this will continue. So how does this translate then to our customers? So it's interesting that in every one of these, we can probably, for every one of the scenarios that I painted, our customers are actually focused on them and are improving them. So I'm just going to highlight. You can see all of our customer stories and kind of get a sense of what they were trying to improve within the strategic portfolio management. But we are very focused on making sure that, again, whatever you're trying to do from those process and tools that I highlighted earlier, we are going to be able to deliver a benefit to your organization. And I think our customer testimonials speak for themselves in terms of what we've done for customers through the OnePlan solution and our services. I'll just highlight a couple that I was personally involved. There's a consumer product, personal care and grooming organization. They had really a couple of different challenges. One had to do with being able to see all their initiatives. So there was some strategic execution management involved. There was also a heavy focus on NPD. So and organizing and improving, accelerating really the new product development life cycle for the organization. They were kind of, it was a little unorganized, for lack of a better word. And also, as you see the new product development and strategy execution management, try to understand the interdependencies between other value streams in the organization. So in this case, OnePlan for strategic portfolio management was implemented, as well as OnePlan for new product development. So we actually had two different OnePlan groups in this organization. Users, wasn't necessarily that large, only 100 managers, 200 team members. The outcomes, what we were looking to get is, overall inventory of initiatives aligned to OKRs. That's where the strategy execution comes in. We were trying to obtain greater attainment of MPD revenue contributions. So what our new products, as we take them to market quicker, can we generate, the expected revenue, increase in revenue. Better handoff and coordination with cross-matrix initiatives, especially at the strategy execution level, and improved governance of the NPD lifecycle. So, can we track better to our NPD lifecycle through the use of OnePlan? So, for the most part, the benefits were achieved. They're still working at it. It's an ongoing process. I will say that these initiatives tend to, be multiple years in the making. But you do have to get started, otherwise you're never going to be able to, fix and improve what you're trying to accomplish. The second one is, financial transaction processor. They didn't really have a formal PMO, lacked alignment of major initiatives to company OKRs. And here leadership was really looking at, how can we align, how can we see the impact of what we're delivering on the overall strategy of the organization. Lack of interdependencies between initiatives. And then what they wanted to do also is to have domain PMO. So this is the concept of the business unit PMO. So have the ePMO, but also empower the business units to have and have a central point of focus on delivery of projects. So in this case, we did the OnePlan for an ePMO and OnePlan for business unit PMOs. Not a huge amount of users, but again, it's the top management that's actually working in this, and then team members that are in those very large initiatives. Expected outcome, visibility and initiatives impact OKRs. They empower, like I said, those business unit PMOs to get their act together in terms of delivery of projects, and then overall capacity planning and project delivery for the entire organization. So you can see that here we're addressing a couple of the different scenarios through a single OnePlan solution. And in this case, it was one specific OnePlan group. So it was interesting how we were able to structure the planning hierarchy to both have a PMO, an enterprise PMO, as well as the business unit PMOs within the same planning hierarchy. So that was an interesting approach. So those are two examples of, again, how the OnePlan platform has the breadth of capabilities to address multiple scenarios. So coming up to a close, so OnePlan is a full-feature strategic portfolio management platform. I think I've described that through the personas capabilities that we have within the tool, and that allows us to cover multiple scenarios through the solution templates. The modules, allow an organization to focus on an ePMO, move up and enter into strategy execution, as well as laterally into IT portfolio analysis, application portfolio analysis, and that is a definition of strategic portfolio management. So because OnePlan can allow you to move up into strategy execution and then also see the impact on IT through enterprise architecture, that's what really defines strategic portfolio management. And then from a bottom-up standpoint, if you wanted to start the PMO and then connect to collaborative work management tools, OnePlan can also do that, or it can be the tool for collaborative work management if you choose to do so. There are a lot of other tools out there, so it's likely that you're going to have to connect them, and that's what OnePlan allows you to do, to have that ePMO that connects to those other collaborative tools. And then finally, Agile is not going to end. We're going to continue to move shift left in order to be more develop more enterprise agile capabilities, and as a result, we have that covered in terms of adaptive and agile portfolio solution templates that give you those capabilities. So you're making the right choice with OnePlan. It gives you the breadth of features to cover multiple scenarios. So for those of you that don't know us, we are within the Microsoft ecosystem, one of the primary partners, if not the most important one, over the last 5 years, being a winner of 3 of the last 5 years, and the other 2 years as finalists. We are in constant communication with the industry analysts because we listen to customer requests and always reference the better practices in order to make sure that we're delivering to you the best possible solutions to keep you on that leading edge. As you see a logo of Aldrich Capital Partners, we recently became part of the Aldrich family as one of their portfolio companies. So we do have the backing to continue on our growth. And as we always say, please, if you are in a position where you are looking to improve portfolio management through any of the disciplines that I've talked about today, all of our solutions are available for trial. So feel free to get started, and we can help you through learning how to use it to get it within your organization. Please make contact so that we can give you a personalized one-on-one demo in any of these and support your trial. And thank you very much for your time. I appreciate you giving me your time today to talk about how OnePlan can support your strategic portfolio management initiatives. Thank you.